Apple's got to enter this market. VR is going to become a mainstream platform integral to the phone itself. There's no doubt that if Apple wants to continue to be a player and a leader in this market, that they're going to have to enter either with a standalone headset or with some kind of a mechanism where the iPhone itself can be used in a VR environment, maybe like a snapping type headset or something else similar to that. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The camera will be a primary mechanism for creating VR content. We've seen early versions of how to use a camera on a smartphone today to create VR content. Mm-hmm. Those will only improve, and the tools will become available to make it very easy for anybody to create VR content.
Okay.
VR hardware is still pretty early right now. We've got to keep in mind that this is really the first real iteration on VR hardware, but it's going to improve very, very rapidly. Today, we see things like grainy imagery with pixel resolution that's not as high as it could be to give us the type of experience that we'd like to see. We see overheating of the devices because of the intense processor demands that virtual reality requires. So there's obviously going to be faster processors, more specialized processors for this. We've just begun to touch on some of the accessories to the visual apparatus, things like tactile feedback, other senses that could be involved like smell, force feedback on motion, all types of things that could create a much more realistic experience. We're very, very early on all those things. So the hardware explosion is going to be enormous and very dynamic, and I think we're going to see a tremendous advance in capabilities over the next 12 months, and over the next couple of years we probably won't even recognize what we see today at the very I'm sure there will be multiple apps that drive mainstream adoption. It's too early to say what those apps are, but the medium and the platform is one that will create all types of apps that we haven't even begun to think of yet, and it's almost a certainty that we're going to see multiple apps that will drive mainstream adoption. I think it's going to be in one of the largest early markets that we've ever seen. I think it's going to be, maybe if you want to quantify it, a year from now, 2% of the smartphone market, which is actually pretty big. It may not sound like a big number, but given that it's just starting, 2% of the smartphone market a year from now associated with VR is huge for that time frame. Mm-hmm.